Wait,
Wow.
hold on. Oh my gosh, wait, let me put on my glasses so I can see you better.
Oh my gosh. Looks like you're loving life in Thailand. Seems like so aligned for you and amazing. And all your podcasts are
I
epic.
mean, oh my gosh, thank you so much. This is the official fourth one. No, fifth. You're the official fifth podcast, and I appreciate it so much. Not even like
I
interview of, just experience.
totally. I love the number five. It's the fifth is my birthday. Anyway, 5th of July. And just so happy to be here with you. So admire what you're doing. It's so cool that you're sharing these podcasts. They're all very inspiring. So I'm like totally honored to be able to see you, catch up a bit and from across the world. Oh my gosh.
This is amazing. Okay, wait, I'm just now figuring out how to use this. Let me see if I can make the screen like half and half on my side because it's recording.
Okay, yeah. Also, I just wanted to let you know we might have a random truck go by. Sorry about that. There's now some construction going on, and there wasn't anything I could do to tell these guys, like, hey, I need quiet for a while. Hopefully, we won't
No
hear.
worries. No worries at all. Let me see here. While I'm looking, okay, I just want to say, well, welcome everyone to the Highest Frequency podcast. And this beautiful lady, I'll let her introduce her name. And I met her in Costa Rica at a dance school I was working at. And her daughter, but at that time, was named Rainbow that did the gymnastics there. She was amazing. And she took the trapeze as well, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Now she's more focused on modern dance, contemporary dance, and I'll tell you more about that in a bit because there's some story about a dance troupe we're doing here. So I'll tell you. But yeah,
So yeah, go ahead, and while I'm looking to figure out the screen, go ahead and tell who you are. And yeah, so this beautiful you breath work, meditation, go for it.
sure. Well, all right. My name is Raquel Starr. I live in Costa Rica on the Pacific side in a little spot called San Juan de Dios, which is sort of near Uvita and Dominical. And I'm the director of the Energy of Breath School. I've been working with breathwork for 23 years now. And before that, I used to be a prima ballerina. I danced classical ballet professionally with 3 different companies. So in brief for now, but many turns of events led me to the breathwork journey. And now as well, I'm a DJ. I play at places like Burning Man and different clubs around the world and
Yes,
also
right.
dances. And I'm chilling here with my dog. And yeah, that's just like a brief intro at the moment. But
Wow, amazing. Do you mind if I just start asking some questions?
no problem. Yeah.
One in particularly, I love breath work, and it's changed my life. And I know I'm about to jump right back into it. I'll explain later. At Tiger Muay Thai, I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's like the biggest MMA school in the world.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
this is my room, like my dorm room.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah,
And you're
and there's a little
training
bit.
there.
Yeah, so I want to live here for a year and get sponsored and become pro. But okay, where was I at before that?
Um, you were gonna ask me a question, but first I'm like, wow, I just so admire you. That's epic. I see your posts and you're rocking it. That's so cool that you're doing that. And yeah, for sure you're gonna go pro and be sponsored. I'm so sure. So that's
Thank
awesome.
you, thank you, thank you. Yes, that's right. So the breath work and the meditation, that helped me to really open up to kind of make these dreams a reality of letting go of these past energies, these thoughts, all these things. And I have a gut intuition that you maybe understand this on a deeper level with the breath work and the meditation and the healing world and the self-healing. And if you don't mind maybe going into a little about that and how you got into it, or whatever your soul desires to share.
Sure, sure. So, well, first of all, the way my screen is like side to side, so if I look like I'm looking at you diagonal instead of straight at the screen, or is it working all right?
Girl, you look great. Look at me.
You look awesome, always. By the way, I'm gonna respond to what you were saying, but your artwork. I don't know if you share in your podcast sometimes about your artwork, but I still think of you in those really cool like mosaics and sculptures you did over on the Caribbean in Costa Rica. And one day I want to invite you over here to do an art installation. So yeah.
Not many people know, like everyone's new, all the fighters, they don't really know about that pass to Costa Rica. And wow, thank you for bringing that up. I'm so appreciative that you recognize that. That's also, I remember at the coffee shop when we were building the one for Carrie Beans.
Yes, yeah, with the sloth. Oh, sorry, one second. My daughter wanted to call her dog over to have breakfast, but he seems to be like super chilling. Okay, wait a second. Okay. Sorry. All right.
What 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 time in the morning is it?
It's what time is it? It is 8:43. We're
Nice, nice.
11 hours difference. Like, wow. But yeah, so I'll tell you a little bit. Where would I even start? So, when I was a ballerina, I really thought that would be it. Like, it was my dream ever since I was 4 years old. I dreamt of being a ballerina, a fairy ballerina, and I did. I devoted, I dedicated, I had the opportunities, I made it happen. I got to that level, of dancing. And also, though, I different traumas and karmas and dynamics in life growing up led to me developing anorexia. I get people think that most dancers must have some kind of eating issue or everything. I don't know if not all, but a big percentage do. But that's the way I chose to deal with my issues. And I didn't have any mentors or people to support me to do this differently. I just thought, okay, I'm going to control my body image and the way I look and try to be perfect or whatever I thought I needed to do. Anyway, over time, even though I somehow, being that at that age, a teenager dancing in a company and having all the energy in the world, I pushed and pushed, to the limits. So by the time I was close to 30, I'm 52 now.
Wow.
I had
Yeah, I can't believe it. You really, you're glowing.
Thank you. I mean, I'll get into some of that in a bit. It has a lot to do with the breath work. It really does. And because even 20 years ago, I felt older and unhealthier and way more down and so on than now. But so then I was almost 30 and very injury prone. And during dancing, I incurred yet another injury. At this time, I had stress fractures in my shin and I needed to be on crutches for 6 weeks. And it was like a week before the opening night of a lead role. I really wanted to dance. And
Wow.
I just didn't look back. I was like, you know what? All right, I'm gonna be on crutches. What am I gonna do? So like a few days later, I was in
Wow.
college. Yeah, I was finishing up a whole like psychology degree that I had started some years before and threw myself into more than full time with that. I didn't even look back. I didn't even cry. I just was like, all right, I got to do this while I heal my body. So the busier I was, the easier it was, like just to stay focused, to study. I work with all these holistic facilitators who help me, with nutrition, with wellness, with Reiki energy healing, which I trained in, with just emotional healing coaching, like applied kinesiology, whole nutrition, all these things. So it took me a couple years and I did get better, but I just decided, I'll just keep going. I finished grad school for counseling. And that was sort of like at the time, it was because I hadn't discovered breath work yet that I thought, well, this is a second interest for me. What was really a saving grace during that time, actually, and I know this sounds like a roundabout story, but I'll explain why the breath work in a second, was that I discovered DJing through a boyfriend at the time. And I was like, wow, oh my God, I love this. I'm passionate about this. I really want to do this. So really quickly, I got into it. I was like making mixtapes. I got all these gigs at different clubs. I started getting flown to different states to play at raves and underground parties, then radio shows, all this stuff. So that's what got me through
Wow.
grad school. And then, long story short, I moved to New York. I was DJing. And I met a partner who was studying breath work. And I started studying too and doing this. I did this 3-week meditation by Osho, a mystic from India called Osho Dynamic Meditation. By the time those 3 weeks were done, it had turned my DJ lifestyle upside down. I was like no longer staying up and DJing till sunrise. And I was getting tired of the club scene. And I started to discover about the breath work more because it was in that realm with teachers from the Osho world. And I realized, oh my God, there's something really powerful here. This is where I can start to heal at a deeper level what's been going on with me. Because, okay, I'd healed my body quite a bit. I'd started career paths that I like enough, whatever. But I hadn't realized like all the suppressed emotions and traumas from childhood, from just growing up, I started to learn about like the different stages of life and what people can go through in childhood and adolescence, like in relationships with the cultural conditions and programs around the world, like all the different things. And so I started to train in it and then founded a school in New York called the Energy of Breath School, where I started to give trainings and also lead the active meditations. And just what I found out over that time is that I could have a direct way to personally hold space for myself each day and breathe to feel and to unblock the armoring in my body and to like be able to feel that I can hold space for myself, that I can be with whatever's going on, that I could witness my emotions, that I could process whatever issues are going on, that I can delve into situations and like full on be present with them. So that was the beginning of the journey with the breath work. And that was like in the early 2000s. There's been a lot of evolution and development since then with the types of breath work and how I work with it now, but that was definitely the key to my emotional well-being, to grounding and getting embodied and more clear about who I am. And it hasn't been quick, it hasn't been easy, but I will say that now, 23 years later, and with the gamma breath work that I do, and I've been able to manifest a life where it's by choice. I'm in creation mode. I live in Costa Rica. I'm one of the founders of Blissburn. That's another topic. I'm getting back into dance. I'm starting a dance company again now. I have a beautiful
Wow.
relationship with my amazing, almost 14-year-old daughter.
Wow.
Yeah, so manifesting really positive things in my life. I started from a place of like trauma and a lot of anxiety and a very dysregulated nervous system to getting to a place of feeling like well and whole at my age now and honing the tools in a way that it's so much more quick now, much more effective. It doesn't have to take somebody 20 years. I mean, it can, but it could be a few months, a few years, like, or less, or maybe a couple years to get to a place of a life by design, a life of intention, a life of more self-awareness and connection and intuition in our body to take care of ourselves, in a good way. So I know that's a long response, but just to share a bit about the journey.
Oh, it's perfect. It's beautiful. It's wow. That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. It goes
Yeah.
so deep. It goes so deep. And when I was looking for, I was messaging a lot of people, like not just random people. Um, I instantly was like, I've been wanting to start a podcast for like years, but every timing was not the right timing. I tried to push, but this time there's no resistance. And when I somehow you came up and I was just like, this right here, this interview, this connection is gonna be so powerful because this type of interview, this type of sharing are things that people don't talk about. And the viewers, I hope to bring in all people, all walks of life, and the way we speak, the deepness of this is something that people need to hear and want to hear, are seeking for. And it's like, and when you get a beautiful lady, and it's so nice to have women, I realize like my whole life it's been more men, men, men. It's good to have good connections with women and to really like make an impact, and you're making such an impact. And I'd like to hear about the academy next as well. But I just like every person, like every alignment, every person so far, I'm like literally booked for 30 days. Every day I'm going to do a podcast in person that are all like at the gyms around here or online. And then throughout the day, I'll just do classes throughout the day and just make sure I do that one podcast. Whatever time they want, I'll be available. But it's just incredible. And yeah, so your soul is so special, and I just am so thankful for you to be here. And one day we'll definitely connect again. It's like building that soul tribe. People, we're free, we are understanding, there's no judgment. And that's the beauty of it, is I want a channel of non-judgment and just pureness.
100%. Well, I admire what you're doing, and I look forward to checking out the rest of your podcasting. You're making such a difference in the world as well, and all of you over there are such powerful people, so courageous and stepping forward. About your passion. I love that. That's like, I think, so important when people find their purpose and their passion, and they can step into it.
And you do like online one-on-one breath work, correct?
Yes. So I could describe to you. Yeah, mostly right now it's online. So I work with people around the world, so many different time zones. Also here in Costa Rica, sometimes I'll see people in person, one-on-one, and it can also be groups. Like say, for example, there'll be a yoga studio and I'll guide a breathwork for their group, or a retreat or a festival here. I often guide gamma breathwork activations at the beginning of ecstatic dances that I facilitate. So ecstatic dances are these like dance journeys, kind of like a party, but they happen in like
I've done I've done one and it was absolutely like amazing. But go ahead and explain it, because before I did, I had no idea what I was going into. I was like, oh,
Sure.
dance.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll tell you about ecstatic dance, and I'll go back to the breath. But like what I've been doing is combining them. I call it gamma ecstatic dance, and even sometimes combine that and create something called a cacao gamma ecstatic dance, where we drink cacao. First, I'll tell a bit about the tradition of the cacao as well. But first, ecstatic dance. So it's called ecstatic because the idea is that people can find a safe space, usually in a yoga studio or just like a festival area, or like it can even be in a club space. But the idea is that it be a sober space. So say compared to maybe going to a club at night where people are drinking or smoking, or it's more of a social environment in that way. This is a space where people are supported to feel uninhibited. They can dance however they like. It's not about trying to do a social dance. I mean, if they want to look like a robot and dance or roll around on the floor like a monkey or whatever, it's fine. The idea is that the
Yep.
DJ will take everybody in the group through a journey that could be a very eclectic mix of music, starting very gentle and bringing up a pace, and it could be very electronic and techno-y, but then it can also be very world and tribally, melodic, all kinds of instruments, and take them through these waves to feel different emotions and access different ways of movement. And then to conclude at the end in a gentle space again in a sharing circle. It's usually a couple hours long, and so when I guide these, first we have an intention setting, and we do a few of these gamma breaths, which maybe we could do a gamma breath here on our podcast. It takes like a minute, like at some point. I think it's really sweet.
Absolutely.
And so that gets everybody to the flow state. And as they're in this higher frequency flow state of a higher vibration, like the highest frequency podcast, then it's possible to dance and channel those feelings, those new visions, and download them and really embody them. So the movement's like a medicine and is very healing. Like it really activates our DNA and evolves what's going on in the body. So, and emotionally. So say somebody comes in there with a heartbreak and they dance about it, they feel much better by the end. Or just come in to celebrate, whatever it is. Ecstatic doesn't necessarily mean, oh, it's just happy. It's ecstatic means like you get to really just be with yourself with whatever's going on and learn to hold and embody yourself even more. So that's what makes it ecstatic. So why I love ecstatic dance so much is that when I was first DJing in the clubs and I was transitioning out of dance and in college, and I sorry, my dog's making funny noises. I still had the conditioning of ballet. It's like a very structured training kind of movement, which I love. But then the Osho dynamic meditation incorporates a segment of ecstatic dance in it. And I started to feel uninhibited and move my body in all these different free ways. And soon I found out about the ecstatic dance community, and it transformed my life in terms of the way I move and uninhibited and express and be able to flow in my hips and everything, when ballet is more like up and straight in a way. And this shifted my whole perspective on the world to where now I facilitate the ecstatic dances, and I'm starting a dance company that incorporates a mix of styles of dance and creative expressive dance. But I know I'm describing a lot of, I mean, about the breathwork in my school, just in brief, it's the breathwork sessions are designed to support people in any area, whether it's healing traumas or healing from addictive patterns and recovering from use of certain substances, to looking at family dynamics, relationship dynamics, to activating skills and new goals in business or life and career, to manifesting, which is a big one, and really just getting more clear and authentic in oneself, like who the person really is, and getting more free to be themselves. So that's what the sessions are about. So on my website, it's just a series of topics of possible types of breath work sessions. And it all comes down to getting into the gamma frequency with the breath. And then any topic that's revealed is the one that we explore. I do also teach Reiki, and I can do that long distance, even through the screen, like all the different levels of Reiki energy healing, and some nutrition coaching and things like that. I give trainings in gamma breathwork. It's actually a 10-hour training. It's not that long to learn a whole new modality and a new way to have practice. So
I'd be down to take a training for sure.
Awesome. I'd love to, that would be super cool. You could bring the breathwork to all your colleagues in the martial arts.
I would love for you to collab. I remember an important question I want to ask you is, this is so important for athletes, and a lot of Thai trainers and these athletes, they're not eating so healthy, or, anyways, the breath work, the yoga, the true meditation, like the doing that work, like it can help athletes 100%, and that's like, I'm living at a fight school, and I'm just going to be like interviewing and understanding all these pro athletes. And so bring that, and maybe you can share that with them, or
100%. I mean, we could do like a Zoom like this where everyone's together, or in their own Zooms, or however.
exactly.
Yeah, I have done this where I've worked with teams of athletes, artists, dancers, where we use the breath work, first of all, to get really connected, really oxygenating the body, but also regulate brain waves, get into pineal activation, the flow state, a micro release of DMT, dimethyltryptamine, helps inform the body intelligence. And so then all of you guys could tune into your techniques, to your different, I don't know if I'm using the right words, but strategies and ways that you move, however you do these practices, then the breath will really strengthen and help develop the more upgraded methods. It really does. So whatever the field is, then we can personalize, like, what exactly do you all need? Like, what do each of you need to hone your techniques and skills, or your stamina, or your mindset? It's very much about the mindset, and like visualizing, manifesting the frequency of how to do those certain things that you do, and to like have, I'm not using the right words, like have a good fight, or like however it is, but really
Yeah.
the breath is really important for strengthening all those aspects.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I just like, if you just want to, if you know people and you want to do like a 3-way, a 4-way, we all just conversate. And I really want to get a hold of Dr. Joe Dispenza. That's I'm going to speak next to him one day.
100%. Yes. That's awesome. I'm sure he'd be all about it. Like, he really wants to share with people at a really wide level how we can transform and become like superhuman. Like, really.
You guys would have some really good conversations.
Yeah, it's interesting because Dr. Joe Dispenza, I love this. He's a huge proponent of gamma and that superhuman state, and he's utilizing ancient Tibetan practices and breath techniques, and working with the bandhas and the chakras, and bringing up the kundalini energy and all of this. He's not familiar with this gamma breath technique that I work with yet, and I have a feeling one day we'll get a chance to share stage 2 and share the different techniques. The one I work with was developed by Core Core Love, aka Corey Herder, he designed the Gamma Breath sequences, and he personally gave me the green light to use them to create sessions and trainings and to for specific purposes and so on. And they're really quick and easy to use too. So that makes it like, for example, before a fight or a practice, you just do one Gamma Breath. It takes 1 minute, and then like you're just ready to go. You're in that flow state and really prepared.
Okay, so I know you have to go soon. You want to do the 1 minute? I would love to really 1 minute gamma.
Yeah, let's do that. Like totally. Um, so for everyone that's watching and everything, you can just take a moment to just sit wherever you are comfortably and just landing your body a little bit, feel really centered and calm. And I'll describe what we're going to do. You can have your eyes closed. We're going to, in a few moments, do these breaths where we feel that we're breathing really fully, as expansive and spacious as possible throughout our whole bodies. So even though we're thinking, okay, we're taking breath into our lungs, is it just into our chest or is it going into our belly? In this case, it's more of like, yeah, we feel like our lungs are really filling up with breath, and entirely our whole body is becoming the breath. So full inhales in this way, full exhales in this way. This first basic gamma breath that we're going to do is the umbrella breath that brings us into the gamma frequency, which is 40 hertz and higher of vibration through our brain per second, which is a higher frequency, like a higher intelligence space. This will create a flow of endorphins through our body, more oxygenating, balancing of brain chemistry, and really a feel-good state. So it's a mix of mouth and nose breaths. We're gonna, in a second, we're gonna do this, but it's a full inhale will be 3 seconds, full exhale is 3 seconds throughout. So when I say, for instance, in mouth, out mouth, we'll do this together. We'll just do 1 inhale, 3 seconds, 1 exhale, 3 seconds through the mouth, and then the next stage. All right, so here we go. The other thing is it's optional, but if your hands are free, you could place them in palms together. The prayer mudra, what this creates is a coherence of left and right brain hemisphere and coherence to the body. All right, so here we go. We're going to do this breath. So in mouth, out mouth. In mouth, out nose. In nose, out nose. In nose, out mouth. In mouth, out mouth. In mouth, out nose. In nose, out nose. In nose, out mouth. We'll do one more set. In mouth, out mouth. In mouth, out nose. In nose, out nose. In nose, out mouth. And a big and spacious in mouth, out mouth. Good, and let's just take a few minutes with eyes closed, breathing easy. We can relax our hands and just immerse into the energy that's flowing. I'll bring us back in a moment. Great, and then whenever you're each ready, just could slowly come back. Gently open your eyes.
That's medicine.
Definitely, right? It's a state change. So that breath took, okay, maybe it took us a little longer than a minute because I guided a little info about it first, but yeah. I could send you after just a short write-up of the breaths to maybe post under the podcast
Yeah.
so everybody love it. That way, or just, share it with everyone, it's
Absolutely.
so as you can see, it's like a total state change. And if you do this a few more times, it's like, wow, total shift. So I just wanted to mention a couple of tips for how to use this breath for everyone, because you can use it throughout the day, like anytime. You can use this breath 100 times a day if you want. It can't be detrimental. Uh, so you can use it just to relax. You could use it to get energized. You could use it as a reset. Say you're transitioning from one thing to the next. Say you've been doing a lot and you feel overloaded. Do the breath just to pause, and also just to integrate whatever you've just done and give you more processing power to go forward. You could use this breath if you're feeling emotionally stressed, and then that will help you get more clear. And you can use this
Mm,
breath if you're feeling great, so that you can amplify those good feelings. And you can, one more thing, you can use this breath with intention, like what
mm,
you activate, then do the breath.
that's amazing. Wow.
For sure.
And yeah, wow, I love what you're doing. I love the breath work. I love the magic in it. Everything about it. What is are we yeah, what time do you have to go?
I know it's super late over there for you. I don't know what time you
Yeah.
usually get up. You probably
Well,
like
I have
practice early too. I've got like maybe like say 10-ish more minutes, if that's cool, or
okay.
like
Yeah, yeah,
15.
10-ish minutes works for me too, because I got another podcast in the morning with another lady. I'm really excited. Uh, uh, anything you want to share? Just flow with it.
Let's see. What do I want to share? I could just share what I'm up to over here because I think it's fun. Well,
You're
first of all, yeah,
you're in Puerto Rico, correct?
actually, so we moved to the Pacific side of Costa Rica back in June. So on the whole other side of the country, so near
Wow.
Dominical, near the Osa Peninsula, but we're up in the mountains. So when we lived in Puerto Viejo and I had met you and we were right by the beach and I love it there so much, I had thought, oh, this is it. I haven't seen all of Costa Rica yet, but I can't imagine moving. But then part of about me is I'm a burner. I don't know if everyone who'd be viewing is familiar with the Burning
Oh
Man.
yeah.
Yeah, and so I discovered I had discovered years before, but in 2009 I got to go to Burning Man, and it was life-changing for me because what I saw was that by immersing into the 10 principles of what Burning Man is about for those couple of weeks and living in a city, at the time it was 50,000 people in the desert in Nevada, where we build everything. Everybody participates, everybody gifts their skills or their performances, or there's healing sessions or their band music or sessions, whatever, all kinds of things. And we build the city together, and it's a communal effort. And just to mention the principles, I'll list some of them: radical self-expression, radical inclusion, radical self-reliance, communal effort, civic responsibility, leave no trace, immediacy. I might be forgetting a couple right this moment, and gifting. So that helped set me free in a lot of ways, because I saw so many people there being so creative at building these epic art structures. That's why I thought of you so much. I wanted to invite you to Blissburn. Like anytime you're back in Costa Rica, we would love you to do an art installation and teach us your gifts and skills with martial arts and everything. But
I'd be honored.
yeah, we'd love that. But so it was so life changing for me that I went back every year. Burning Man's grown now. There's like 80,000 people go to this one gathering in the desert. There's regional burns around the world of many different sizes, amounts of
Oh,
people live by these principles throughout the year as best as they can. And so much so that, like, long story short, I started a chat for people who wanted to talk about Burning Man topics. And then out of that, somebody introduced me to this guy who owns this land where I now live, who also wanted to start a regional burn. And 8 of us got together to be the producers of the whole thing. And we had our first burn here in March of 2024. And it went so well. It was just amazing. People loved it. We had such a great time, like people creating camps, art installations, ecstatic dances, DJs,
wow.
like talks about the earth. We had native elders come and give talks. We had kids. We had everything. And so then we got back to the Caribbean, and I just started thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? Like, maybe we're ready for a move. And it just so turned out that this house was going to become available here on the land. And in June we moved here, and now our next burn is coming up in a few weeks, and
Wow.
it's growing, and people are hearing about it. People from different countries are coming, and there's just something to be said about entering a safe container where there's no exchange of money while we're here, where everybody can feel more freely expressed to be themselves, where they're going to be accepted, and they're also going to be self-reliant to be here during that time, and to create and build um, experiences bigger than their oneself, like all together. And so that's just in brief. So that's what I'm
Wow.
up to here.
You know, that's timeless, that's priceless, that's just gaining so much knowledge and so much wisdom and going into an experience like that. And I love, like, I've lived in the jungle with no electricity, different places, I've lived in communes like that but to be with like a big community, and like you, like I know what you do with the Burning Man, you explained a little bit, you know, like the big camps and stuff, like amazing, like to see how that energy flows, and it really can flow, and I see that as like the vibration of love, like it can happen. um it's incredible.
Thank you. I mean, to me, it's an example of like how you admire you so much. Like you're in Thailand, you're following your dreams, you're at that school, you're getting this training, you're gonna go pro, and like you're like fulfilling, you're like this courageous, passionate person. And I would say the burn inspires that in people to like really step forth and be their most authentic self and have more energy and passion to step into it. And so yeah, like you're living it for sure.
Wow, you are too. I'm so excited to hear more about the Burning Man that, you know, it's been the created, and just love to do more like more interviews with you, and we can get deep in different topics too. um we can get into some really, because I know you're into holistic health, and I'm very like big into holistic health, and I honestly want to reach out to Dr. Joe Dispenza. You'd be surprised when you reach out to people, you never know. I've been getting a lot of responses from bigger people just by sending a message.
100%. Yeah, yeah, that's definitely how it goes. When there's, I would say, speaking of topics like this, like when there's a resonance and a frequency and something's meant to connect, it just does. And the person will receive the message and be like, oh yeah, I'm all about it. I want to do this with you. And yeah, for sure. And your
Yeah, and I
intention
feel
is
like, yeah, I was just saying, I feel like 2025 is like we're flying now, like towards our, you know, we're flying towards what we need. It's time, you know.
yeah, yeah. It feels like and it's interesting because I mean, every year we could say that in the new year, like, oh, this is the year that we're gonna do this. But truly,
Yeah.
there's something with the energies and frequencies of this year and all the transformation and momentum that's picking up that, yeah, it's a powerful one for more expansion.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Wow, amazing. Okay, well, thank you so much. This has been amazing. If you want to share just say out loud your Instagram, your website, or anything you want to share with your name.
Sure, sure. So RaquelStar.com, and I spell it like this, RAHQUELSTAR. So RaquelStar.com, and that's the same for my YouTube. But there's a whole bunch of free Gamma Breathwork YouTube videos there. Instagram, which I could hone a little, make it more interesting, but my Instagram's also Raquel Star. And what else? SoundCloud, Raquel Star. So if you want to check out my ecstatic dance DJ sets, or also like techno and house music sets, and some original productions are there. And yeah, like thank you so much too. It's so fun to see you, Miss Baby Ninja. And I just yeah, there's so much more we could talk about at some other time. Hopefully this was interesting information for everyone.
It was amazing. It was perfect. It was the perfect one.
Wow, well, all the best over there with your training and the rest of the podcast. I look forward.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it looks so nice outside today. I'm sure you're gonna have a beautiful day.
yeah, it's just totally beautiful out there. Yeah, we're headed to some activities, my daughter's violin lesson and this holistic
Oh,
market and things like that. And so I don't know, you can probably see her in the reflection of the mirror over there.
violin lessons. Let's go. I mean, what next? She is amazing. All the stuff, all the experiences. She's so good at all these different experiences.
Oh, thank you. I feel super blessed as a mom. I mean, I'll leave on this note. The last thing is, I feel very grateful as a mom, the journey we've been on. It's mostly been a single parenting journey. And I'm grateful for that we live in Costa Rica, that
That's
she's
right.
we have such a beautiful relationship. I gotta say, I mean, I'm not a perfect mom, but I'm grateful that I've done a lot of work, like a lot of like just learning and lessons and like personal work, and to hone having a positive relationship with my daughter is like the biggest gift. And she loves it here, especially where we live now. She was just in a musical. There's another one starting up that I'm gonna get to be the choreographer for, Alice in Wonderland, and she's ambitious.
Whoa,
So here's big mojo for my daughter to be Alice. That would be a beautiful opportunity for her.
of
And yeah,
course.
living the Costa Rica life, the Gamma
Wow.
life, Yeah.
That is incredible. Wow, you guys have an amazing day. Violin lessons. You just lit up my heart.
Likewise. I'm so glad we're in touch. Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you for coming. All right, I'll speak to you soon.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.